When we look back now on those 5 weeks, we were never freaked out, worried, concerned, flat on the floor in anguish over anything. We never left Landon's side. We were with him 24 hours a day for those 5 weeks. We did go out a couple of times, and somebody from the hospice would come and stay with him. And, Gail would come and bring him ice cream, chocolate Tofino ice cream. And, we have so many memories and so many stories. And we were never concerned. The sisters brought us the best chicken parmesan that I've ever eaten in my entire life. Not only once, but twice. I still think about that. I could never duplicate that recipe. It was the most delicious thing in the world. Oh my gosh. And we ate so much ice cream. Landon, as he recuperated a bit, he had a unquenchable thirst and hunger. And we spent many of those 5 weeks trying to manage that. It was physiologically what was happening and some of the drugs that he was on, and just always so thirsty and hungry. And so anyway, Chocolate Tofino had heard how much Landon loved the ice cream, and they had this amazing deal for us that they said he could have all the ice cream he needed. Yeah. And then so one day I ate his ice cream. Somehow the conversation in the room had gone that Mom had actually eaten the ice cream. And you have to know Landon. Landon was a bit of a peacemaker and just a gentle kind of kid. And in his kind of funny way, he said, "I am going to smack you." And we all laughed so hard and I think Gail was wrong, but anyway, I think within 2 hours he had 3 dishes of ice cream. It was oh my gosh, we better get some ice cream quick. So some of our family then very quickly came as well. During that time, we took turns being with him 24 hours a day, not to look after his nursing care because they were excellent at the hospital. We just needed to be with him. We needed to know that if he woke up, that when he woke up, he was in and out of consciousness day, night, kind of got all scrambled up, and that there would just be somebody there with him. So we took shifts, and if you weren't on shift, you were either sleeping, sitting in the hot tub, walking on the beach, eating ice cream. It was hard to describe. I think that we still can't fully describe it because in its horror of what was happening, there was an unbelievable beauty. And you don't usually find sadness and joy so intimately intermingled, but that's what we had. And then at some point then we kind of decided that we should probably make a break for home. He was actually during that 5 weeks here, there was a couple of times when we didn't think that he would maybe make it through the night, but again then
that was kind of at the beginning where he relapsed a little bit, but as he responded, actually, and it's to the community, it's to the love, it's to just the special place. He didn't get out of bed. We took him outside in the hospital there, and he could feel the sun and the breeze, and there were always eagles around. Let me tell you that every time I got feeling, like I was going to go crazy, there would be an eagle perched outside somewhere, all of a sudden fly past the window. And I challenged God every single time, every day, and he responded by saying, "Look, I'm here, we're here, I've got my angels around you, you just relax." If you can call it relaxing. But it was, because people from home called us and said, "What do you need?" Holy man, it must be absolutely crazy out there. And we're going, no, it's not crazy. It's crazy how we are so comforted and cared for out here. That's what's crazy. And it was just, how can you have so much love and care and peace inside you when something like that's going on. But that's exactly the way it was. A testament to the heart and soul out here.
And the heart and soul in you.
You know what, we absolutely love the Tofino General Hospital. We had just come from a year of big city oncology, neurosurgery wards, and where we had to drive, we always get a parking ticket, and if you didn't get a parking ticket, you actually that day had paid, $15 in parking, miles of elevators and hallways and busyness. When we saw Tofino General Hospital, I thought, I feel like I'm in a little time warp here, and I don't have to pay for parking here, and within a minute of parking, I could be in his room. Landon was in a couple of different rooms. When they could, they moved him into the room at the end of the hall that had been specially sort of decorated and outfitted, apparently, by somebody who had been there before. And this room became our little second home. It had the big green leather chair. I can still hear the screech of the leather as I would recline that chair, and then another chair that made into a single bed, and the view outside of that window, of course, was of the ocean. And although Landon never saw it, when it rained or if there was a wind, I would throw those windows open, man, and say, Landon, can you hear it? Like, we're right there. We're right at the ocean, buddy. We're right there. And I put an extra blanket on him, and I want him to hear that, and I want him to feel the wind on his face, and because that's what he wanted to come for. That's what he wanted to see. He wanted to see and hear the ocean. And that room was incredible.
This hospital has the best hospital food ever.
That's right, hey? Even when he really wasn't eating, they would still bring a tray of food, and there was always somebody there that would eat it. And then that common room next, sort of that room at the hospital with the fridge in it, and as people would come and go, we would take that over, but there was also other people in there that we got to know. And I remember one of the first nights, there was a nurse, Dominique, in there, and Dominique was French, and there was a baby in the hospital that night that was very fussy and probably sick, and Dominique sang French lullabies all night to the baby. And at first it was like, oh, this is kind of annoying, but then I think it comforted Landon, and I think it comforted me. Landon spoke French. He went to French immersion school, and hearing Dominique sing those French lullabies. And then another night there was an elder in the hospital, and I could never really tell where it was coming from, whether it was a patient or a visitor, but he was chanting, and it just became, if you let it just became a wave over you that was an incredible healing thing. And then there was the day that Landon said to Dominique in French that he loved her. And we laughed, and she swooned. She's like, oh, I've never heard such a beautiful thing. It was amazing. We didn't want to leave the incredible quality of care that he was getting. But, at some point we decided it would be the right thing to do to go home. We're a very close family. We have brothers and sisters and grandparents and friends. We wanted to go home so they could see Landon. So through an amazing turn of events, we went home on a private airplane and arrived home on his birthday. That night, after spending some time in the hospital, then he went into palliative care, and the night of his 22nd birthday, we had him all settled in. We had a party that night, and did he know he was home? I don't know. I think the important thing was he always knew that he was loved and that there was somebody around him. He never felt alone. He never wanted anything except to drink water, more ice cream. And then 5 weeks later, he peacefully passed away on May 3rd. Phil and I were there with him. It was quiet. He was pain-free. 14 and a half months into after being diagnosed with brain cancer.